Greetings and God bless. I wanted to do a video about what I've noticed. People who have, they've pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and they have everything dialed in and they've got their investments in their condo or house and they've got their life situated. And then, like, I'll watch YouTubers and they'll feature, somebody on drugs or a homeless person, just in passing, and they'll heap contempt upon that drug addict or homeless person, and this is not to make any excuses when a drug addict or homeless person is interfering with somebody else's peace of mind and they're being able to walk down the street. Like, I really don't like it. I get very upset when I'm accosted by homeless people. So I'm not saying, they're saints or anything, but one scene plays in my mind where forget what his name is. It's Crowdsourcing the Truth, the host of Crowdsourcing the Truth. And him and the guy he does walk and talks with, Charles, they are so contemptuous of homeless people. And something I just wanted to say is that, it's not like somebody woke up and they're like, oh, I'm going to be this homeless person. Like, it takes a lot of years and a lot of things to fall apart for somebody to become homeless, like literally living on a bench. And like folks who loathe homeless people or drug addicts, people who make bad decisions, like people who are housed and they make bad decisions. When somebody is under constant terror, constant assault, and this can not only be somebody who's abusive, it can be the like never getting a good night's sleep. Like, I have this tarp up because they have these really bright LED street lights at night. My room is like bright. I don't need a lamp at night. And these new LED lights are just like it's just, you have to have blackout curtains, and I have blackout curtains, and I had to add a tarp, and there's even blinds there, so it's like 3 layers, and my room is still bright at night. So that's an assault. Like, you can't even sleep. And then another thing that can be assault that makes more vulnerable people not have good sleep, not be able to function, is constant noise. Sometimes there's these loud machines that go on at midnight, and I don't know where it's from, and it's like 80 decibels, and it goes on for hours. That's happened to me before. So when I've also lived where somebody would, it was above a bar, and at about like 11 at night, like for 4 nights out of the week, somebody would be playing the same riff on a ukulele. So for 4 hours, I was hearing the same 4 bars, like kind of like as if somebody's on drugs, and I mean, it makes you a little uncomfortable. And so there's like light, so you can't sleep at night. Sound, so you can't rest well at night. A threatening person, so you can't be comfortable in your own skin in your even when you do have a house. Smells, like when I was living in South Dakota, there was this, like, I don't know what it was, but every once in a while there's this really bad vile smell that would permeate the office I was in for like an hour or two. I just don't know if it was something with the vents or something like that. But when you're constantly exposed to a really disgusting smell. So, some people are blessed. For some reason, some people don't have these problems, or they're able to mediate or remediate uh, these difficulties. But some people do not, like, they're so worn out, they don't even realize to put up a tarp. They don't, they can't handle having earplugs in all the time, or they don't know how to negotiate with an abusive person. And, not everybody's just like trying to be bad or trying to ruin society, and I feel like a lot of people who really are loathing the homeless people, let's say in New York City or San Francisco or whatever. I mean, I'm not, I know it's creepy to see half naked people jonesing or whatever, staggering about. I don't like it either. But I'm just trying to say that uh, when you're actually kind of like constantly harping how bad homeless people are, I just wanted to say that there's a lot that leads to somebody going into that dire situation and kind of losing their mind. And the city doesn't care about sound ordinances or, making somebody's habitation uninhabitable. At least that's what I have experienced when I've called about like leaf blowers going for 4 hours when I was living in Norfolk, Virginia. Uh, so like there's torture kind of going on, like motorcyclists or drivers who have a really really loud motor. They make it so loud, and really loud vibrating motors and engines and stuff. It actually causes concussion. So those drivers who think that they're just so funny, um, you know, when those of us who are walking, we're basically getting our head banged. Those people are banging our head every time they're gunning that motor, and there's a lot of them. I have countless concussions from the sound of these people who think that they have a right to be so loud, or they're like, oh, I have to optimize my engine, so I'm gonna be so loud that anybody else who's around is getting a concussion. So there's a lot of just really bad behavior, negligent, abusive, dangerous behavior that nobody's doing anything about. Um, and so people are going to suffer, people are going to go down because it takes so much to be moderately healthy. And so, anyways, I just wanted to point those things out. I mean, not to mention pesticides and insecticides and cleaners that are so toxic that are sprayed willy-nilly and nobody cares about how it could affect certain people's health, and or they deny that it could affect people's health, um, and or maybe they want to kill people. I mean, that is a thing. Like, people do believe that if you're like in population control, and if you're ill and weak, people think you should go. But I mean, like, living is torture for a lot of people. There's just like mold everywhere, or like I was saying, toxins, or even like stuff that's sprayed in the air or on lawns. Uh, it's just a difficult world to navigate. So I just wanted to put that out there, just for perspective. So, and I'm not really sure what the solution is, because uh, the people who are supposed to protect us aren't, and I don't have, I mean, some people might be like, oh well, sue the people who are responsible, and it's like, I don't really know how, and it seems like the system is rigged, and it seems like you really have to have very savvy allies or an ability to deconstruct reality, and I don't really feel capable. And speaking of that, like not only are there toxic assaults or noise assaults and light assaults, or just direct psychological abuse from like people who live in your apartment or something, but there's also like telecom or utility companies or other big companies that screw you over, and they're too big, so you can't really get remedy. You try to improve your situation, and they mess with you. Like I tried getting a website built 2 times, and it messed up both times. The designers didn't know what they were doing, and I talked to somebody at GoDaddy, which is this website host company, and the person at GoDaddy was like, "Oh yeah, web designers are notorious for screwing up people's websites, not delivering product." And I talked to somebody else who was saying that they're somebody they knew paid 30,000. I mean, I had just paid 3,000, but anyway, they paid 30,000 and it messed up. Like they didn't deliver a good website. So and that's just web designers. I mean, telecommunication companies like AT&T, Verizon, and Comcast are the three worst telecoms, and probably telecom is in the top three of the worst companies that customers hate. And so, when you're just an ordinary person, it's like you're having, and when you're solo, that thing is when you're solo, you don't have anybody else to really help you fight your battles. So, like when I was home with AT&T in it was like June, they turned off 3G in South Dakota and Rapid City where I was before, and they didn't know that 3G was what made 4G work. But then for my account, they deleted all the money I had on it. I had like $300, and they deleted my number, like deleted it from existence. Like I was unable to get it back, and it was a number I had had for like 10 or 15 years. And then when I was like trying to call in their customer service, they couldn't find my account. It was just a mess, and it takes hours to try to rectify something that the company itself did wrong. And you're like this criminal suspect, and they're just barely doing their part. I'll also say Comcast is like another awful, evil company. And it's like they sabotage the customers, they do fraud. Uh, and then, I mean, I'm like, they won't do their job, but they'll torture you. Like that's what I'm finding with Comcast right now. They didn't do their job. Like when my dad had an account with them, they didn't help him. They didn't contact him or fix his situation. They ignored him and ignored me when I was trying to help him. And now though their Comcast is harassing me. Like after my dad has died, and I said you got to close his account. But no, now Comcast is calling me. But they didn't call my dad when he needed help, or they didn't call me when I was asking them for help. But now they're calling me. I mean, and they won't tell me why. And then when I call them back, when I call Comcast, they're like, who's the person? What's this account number? Like I mean, like they don't know who he is, or they're not telling me why. And like Comcast has never had customers' interests at heart. And I just feel like big business just is trying to sap your energy, just create as much difficulty as possible, and torture people. I don't even think they want to deliver a good product. It's just like, how can we cause you as much suffering as possible? And and I don't even think it's like people doing a cheap product. My dad was paying 200 a month for a service he barely used. So, anyways, maybe people who are paying 1,000 a month actually get treated like human beings. And So I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. Thanks for watching.